Hello everyone, this is Jimmy Cultus, here today to talk with you about the subject of creating scenes, versions, saving, and managing data on Dreams. If you happen to be a dreamer, this information may be very handy. does have a little bit of information on the subject, but it's not organized in a very useful way. I don't know. I figured it out mostly by myself without looking at any of their info, so it was a little bit obscure. Kind of a weird day for me. Activity 1. Anyway, it's because I already checked it. It was 27 earlier. Don't mind these. These are just future projects, you know, underway. But we're going to start by creating a scene. Scene 1, we're going to call it. Oh yeah, better go through this a little bit more. Press Options, and you'll see the Quick Save option. Once you press Quick Save, you'll see, you know, these two forks in the road or whatever. Elements are a part of a whole, like props in a movie. Anything from a tree to a table to a tune. Scenes are made up of multiple elements. They tend to be something you can watch, play, or explore. Basically a level. Think of this as a level and think of this as an asset. Now if you select something and you don't really, you know, you want to go back, you could always just press circle and they'll let you go back. And here's all the different stuff, and you may be like, well, what's the advantage to assets versus a scene? And I think it's mostly just for organization. It also has to do with publishing. It tends to be that this stuff is easier to publish remixable if that's what you want to do. Remixable being stuff that anyone else can mess around with and change after it's public. I mean, they won't change the original version, they'll just create a remix. But we're going to go ahead and start a scene, and we're going to call it Scene 1. Now, Scene 1 is basically just going to be a test scene for us. Over here, you'll see the Remix button. This is basically if you want to create a copy of this scene. But for now, we're going to publish a version by pressing on this little doodad called Save Version. A private version is a version that's saved online but can't be seen by anyone else. It's really good if you want to save things and have them in the cloud without actually, you know, showing them to everybody. So let's take a look at this. In here, you'll see the versions we can view. Here is the latest online version, and here is the local version that we saved earlier. And you'll see here it's private. This is an easy way to see right off the bat what something is, besides the symbol above. And here's where you can get collaborators. If you just press on this creation settings, here's the visibility, which is only useful if it's been released online publicly. But collaborators, all you gotta do is press on this and search up anyone you want to collaborate with, provided they're interested. I don't usually collaborate with people I don't know. That's my rule of thumb. Here you can see the compatibility. You could set it to TV only, or VR compatibility, wireless controller, you know, that sort of stuff. I don't really do much with that. I figure that just kind of sorts itself out. But anyway, we're going to be getting into some of the do's and the don'ts of this stuff eventually. Let's save a public version, and there's two types of public. There's playable, which is accessible and can be viewed but cannot be edited, and then there's public, which is discoverable, accessible, and remixable by everyone. We're gonna make this playable. And you'll notice in the corner there's this little option. We can go here and view it. Now this controls listing. If it's on here, people will find it in dream searches. If not, they won't find it at all. It's unlisted. So it's pretty difficult to find otherwise. They might be able to find it through genealogy, which, speaking of genealogy, here are versions and releases. Usually there's genealogy. I probably haven't got it set up right, but genealogy is in this direction, usually. Now we're going to create, what is it? We'll create a remix for later. Oh, and something handy I might mention. Andit Creation, this will allow you to save online if you want. I usually always press no. I save the versions before I exit out. I don't know, that's just my way of doing things. And also, you'll notice when you're looking at the cover, there's no version saving option. Like, you won't be able to see that, so you have to press edit mode before you can get this to come up and save a version. Just keep that in mind. They used to have this little green button down in the corner that would just automatically give you access to online versions, but that doesn't exist anymore, so c'est la vie. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to take a photo real quick, because this does figure into space. You could take 14 more photos before saving. So let's go ahead and save this locally. You could also save it online as listed or online unlisted. We're not going to save it online. And I'm just going to show you a little space saving exercise. If you go in here, tap on this, X, and you want to get rid of the original cover photo, just press triangle and you'll just have the selected cover photo. Or you can go to creations and see all of your online photos and, you know, connect them to this. But, if you just do this, you know, put this as the cover photo, and you're like, well, I want that to be the cover photo forever, but this photo's taking up space. Just go in here and delete it. Yes. And it will still be valid. It'll still consider this the cover photo, so long as you don't, like, actually go in and edit and change the cover photo. So yeah, that's just a little space-saving technique if you don't want to always have to, like, you know, like, if I want to save a version from this angle, but I don't want that to be the cover photo. You'll see that it remains the same. So that's just a little handy thing. Now let's, what are we getting into next? Oh yeah, how to start a dream. You'll see that option right here in Start Creating. New scene element, new dream, new collection. We're not going to be getting into collections. There's not much to say about them. They're sort of self-explanatory. They hold assets, mostly, and scenes, but usually just assets. We're going to make a dream, and you'll see here the search option, which allows you to put one of these little babies in there. And you'll see connectors here. You can delete them with triangle if you want to. This would be the entrance to the dream. It's pretty natural. You could actually create your own entrances and exits if you want. If you just connect, you know, if you have an exit within this dream, you could just automatically connect it to that. I'll go ahead and demonstrate that just for the sake of you know, let everybody know how things work. All we gotta do is add a doorway. It's already naturally set to exit, and we'll call it exit so that it shows up that way on the menu. And you would want to hook something up to this, like a trigger of some kind to make it work, but that's like a gameplay thing, you know. Trigger zone, set it to, you know, detect friend. We kind of have gone over this. I highly advise looking at our exploration game, Doorways tutorial, I believe. It talks about this, level doorways. But needless to say, you could actually skip saving a local version and just save an online version. If you know, have the space and everything. Let's go ahead and publish it. Someone actually gave these likes. That's incredible. Anybody can make it on Dreams. Anyway. What was I going to talk about? Oh, yeah. Press that update to update the version. If you ever want to update something, it's as easy as just clicking on this little baby here. And always press the center option. I forget what the other ones do, but it's not so important. You can also set a background if you want. I don't really have a background, but, you know, if you have photos, you can set a background. We're just going to connect that, and that's basically going to take people to the end screen of the Dream where they can press like and everything. So keep that in mind if ever you want to, you know, do stuff like that. And we're going to quick save. And we're going to publish this publicly. We can add a category here. We're just going to call it a game. Single player. Action adventure. The go-tos. I think that's good enough for me. Okay. And we'll see the option to release playable. You can actually release Dreams Remixable, but I forget how that's done. Maybe it's a save version? I know there's a way to do it. It escapes my mind for some reason. Anyway, there's a version out there for everyone to see. And now we're going to talk about some of the things you could do, you know, to do storage and whatnot. Now, the easiest way to view storage, there's two ways to do it. One is click on here and go to the trash can, and you'll get to see all your local data, like up here, the versions and creations. But this is only local data. This little trash can here. This is also the only way that you can get rid of local saves. Do not confuse it for this, which actually deletes the entire Dream from the cloud and everything. Do not use this unless you absolutely want to get rid of the entire thing. This is for local versions, and it will delete connected versions. Which in this case is kind of scary. You're like, oh, am I going to delete 2 Dreams if I delete this? It's just the locals. If it's saved online, they're okay. It's no big deal. Just make sure you have the most recent version updated. Here's the time and the date to help you figure that out. You can still see the private version too. So, yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. Now, the other way that you can view how many versions you have is in Limits Info right up here. And that's beyond local. And it will show you your local stuff, like here's how many photos I have, there's how many I can have max, here's how much space I've taken up, here's how much I can have maximum, how many creations. And you may be wondering, what's the difference between a creation and a version? Well, I'll show you. This right here is a complete creation. You know, simple, right? These are versions within a creation, and they are considered separate. There's a limit on how many versions you can have, and there's a limit on how many creations you can have. Now over here, you'll see the online limits info. And this is how much space you've taken, and this is how much space you have maximum. Mine is pretty large. because around the time the server migration happened, if you had an excess of, like, I think it's 4 gigs on your online storage, that would actually increase your capacity post-server migration. But that's an old story, and sadly, nobody can benefit from that now. But here's how many photos I have, you know, maximum, and how many I have currently. I'll probably delete a few. And here's how many creations I have currently, and how many I can have maximum. I'm also going to probably delete a few creations, you know. But that's a different subject, you know. Yeah, let's go. We already showed how to delete local versions. So I'm going to show some potential, what is the word? Some potential pitfalls when making things. If we're going to make a remix, this is just something you got to watch out for. Maybe not, we'll see. I really want to demonstrate this particular subject, because this is something that could really screw you over in Dreams. I'm going to go ahead and delete this entirely. Oh, I guess we already published it, so it should be fine. But basically, there's this scenario you can end up with. See here? Dream made private. That's because you've got a deleted creation in here. And you may be like, how do I remove it? Well, you can press triangle, and that'll delete it. They have a special button, a special little trash can button, if you're making a collection and you have a deleted creation within it. But you can occasionally mess yourself up. I'm trying to think of a real good example. Also, you'll need to publish most recent version to get rid of that private message at the top. Trying to think of a really good example. Yeah, we'll make a remix. I've done it before. I've actually been on the receiving end of this problem. Blah. Blah. Now we'll make another remix called Blah Blah 2. I know this is very labored, but we have to get this point across because it's important. Now we're going to go to blah blah 1, and we're going to save this online private. We'll go to blah blah 2 and save it online private. And it'll give us an option. It's like save blah blah 1. Because it's a remix. Even though we already saved it private, it's still going to ask us to do it again. And depending on the complexity of your scene, this publishing process can take a long time, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to go in here, and this one, it'll see here, remixed as blah blah 2. It won't let us delete that. Well, we're going to go ahead and delete the whole thing. And it'll say delete blah blah 2. This is just locals. But now we're going to try to publish blah blah 2. And if I've done this correctly, it should disallow me. Well, it will allow me to publish privately. That we can do, but if we want to make it remixable, I think that's where the problem comes in. Oh, it will allow us to make it remixable. Well, I have not successfully duplicated the glitch. So, how the heck are there 4 people playing this? Whatever. I wish I could demonstrate this. I don't know how the heck I can't recreate it. It's just really difficult. Well, let's try and create an asset. Maybe that's how to do it. We'll make an asset. Limb. And then we'll make a scene. Oh, wait a minute. First, I don't know how this... I don't understand this. I know I've done it before. I've definitely made a scene where it's like, I can't publish the darn thing because Well, let's just give you an example. I'm gonna go to the... I know I've done this, so let's go to it. This must be kind of a glitch. But I'm gonna go to an actual level that I actually published, and I actually had problems with. This level here, Tokyo Bay 2, okay. Now I have a problem with this level where it's actually a remix of Tokyo Bay 1, or just plain Tokyo Bay. And I deleted an older version of Tokyo Bay, okay? Bear with me. I deleted an older version of this, but I did manage to publish this public. Now the issue is, this was remixed from the older version, so if I want to publish this publicly, I cannot release it as remixable because it contains a private version. Well, we're going to have to go back to the original because I think this is a remix in and of itself. Here's the original. And I wanted to recreate this glitch, but I don't seem to be able to do it. So let's just go in here. And it says here, can't release can't release public. So what is it that's causing the issue? Show private creations. And this thing's been deleted. This is an older version of Tokyo Bay 1. And you're like, well, how do I avoid this glitch? All I know is when you release something public, you never have to worry about it. Like, once something is public, you can delete an older version of it, and it's no big deal. So what I would advise is be extremely clinical about what you release and when. I would release everything public, perhaps unlisted, or everything, private, perhaps unlisted, and be aware of what you're remixing and which version is which and when you're publishing things. And just release things as a whole. If you release them public and you want to delete an older version, knock yourself out. Not going to affect a thing. You can publish this as remixable. So this does lead to a lot of things getting leaked, so if you want to have an air of mysteriousness, I guess it's not so great. But this is the current dichotomy we're working with here in Dreams. So I highly advise publish things publicly and unlisted if you want to have a remixable option. I will say that it's very rare, but there's a glitch that won't even allow you to release something as playable. I haven't experienced it yet, but other people have. So I would say, just be cautious about deleting things. And get familiar with versions and whatnot. You could do what I did, test this out, release lots of different versions, note down how you published them and the different remixes and the connections and things. And that might help you get used to this stuff before you actually get to making a serious game. Because we wouldn't want you to get, you know, all the way to the end of some grandiose project and then accidentally make a mistake. Let's go back to, well, limits info. I'll talk about managing some of these things. If you want to manage creations, delete complete creations. If you want to manage photos, you know, that's kind of self-explanatory. But photos can be accessed through here. See, that's the normal amount I get. Anyway, here are photos. And you could manage them by going through here, you know, delete and stuff. It's all there. You want to look for only local. You want to look online. It's all there. I get mixed up. Always press creations. And if you want to get rid of versions, of course, versions can be easily accessed by just pressing this little button, and yada yada. Anyway, I think we've covered the subject of publishing and whatnot, and if you want to publish a dream, don't forget to go to Save Version, and just, you know, pick one of these things you want to publish. I don't know why the remixable option isn't there. I forget how to get the remixable option, but needless to say, there is a way to make a remixable dream. I just forget what it is exactly. I guess what you can do is you can make the levels within the dream remixable, so it wouldn't really matter much if the actual surrounding package was remixable. But anyway, that's pretty much it on the subject of how to, you know, how to archive and release things. And I guess if you're really, you know, if you're really lucky, you'll just have a bunch of people playing the thing right off the bat, giving it likes in an extraordinary manner. But anyway, that's all for now. Let's give a quick shout out to our monthly supporters on Coffee. There they go. How ideal. And that's all. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss another video. If you wish to support our earnest insanity, you can check the links in the description to donate or buy merch. Until next time, goodbye.